Hi everyone, and welcome back to our board game series. In the last episode, we managed to get our pawns to take turns and be active on the board tile that they're on. Now we need to roll our dice. Now, to remind you, we are using the dice system that we made in the previous tutorial series. If you want to find the link to that, you find it in the description below this video. But let's get started and make us roll some dice. So to remind you, we are currently, when we play the game, can see the pawns taking turns, as you'll see them shift position as they are basically swapping in and out. Okay, so when they do become active, we want them to not automatically end, but to throw some dice. And as I said at the start of the video, we are using the dice mechanic that we made in our previous tutorial series. So how does this work? Well, what happens is we have to go to our game mode, and on our game mode, when we do start turn, the player is going to start their turn. What we don't want to do is just end turn straight away. So as you can see, we're doing this via the player controller of the current player here. So let's go get the player controller. And there you'll see start turn. So when start turn happens, return the pawn here to replicate to all. That's going to update their positioning, but we don't want to do it. Roll the dice on there. We want to roll the dice on the controller in this case. So let's go before this. Well, it basically intersect this part here. So we're going to take this off here, and we need to do our dice mechanic. Now, our dice mechanic, as a reminder, we spawn these dice in, and as we go over to here, when begin play happens, they start rolling and they return at the end a finished result of call on rolled. Okay, so let's go back to our player controller, and we need to create our die. So we're going to go create or spawn actor from class, choose our BP dice, and I want to just put it at the position of where the camera is. So get actor transform, and we'll start it off with the player camera manager. We may have to bring it in a bit closer because I can't remember how powerful we make our dice actually roll, but we'll test that in a second. We want this to always spawn, just to try to adjust, but always spawn in. And that's going to trigger the roll. So let's just see if the roll of the dice actually happens on this one. Hit play. Okay, so our dice has rolled out. As you can see, it's going way off over there. So we need to bring that in a little bit there. So I'm going to go to my dice, and if we go into start roll, we are adding an impulse, and we're doing a random unit vector, and I just want to add some Z axis to it. So at the moment, this is going to roll always up. I want it to roll down. Okay, so rather than take the absolute value, I want to take this and take the absolute value, sorry, and multiply it by -1. So basically throwing it down onto the board like that, rather than up in the air. And as well as changing the Z-axis direction, we're going to make it also spawn a bit more further in than the camera position. So we go back to our controller, and the location we're going to spawn this in is going to be a bit different now. So let's just move all this stuff down here out of the way. And then in here, I want to get the actor transform. And in particular, I just want the actor location, really. Get actor location. I'm going to get the forward vector of the camera. And I want to multiply the forward vector by the range that I wanted to go in. So we're going to go ahead. Well, actually, I'll tell you what would be better. Rather than using the camera manager, we'll do it from the above where the player pawn is. So we get the player pawn, get to location from that. And I want to get the up vector of our player pawn. So going to get the actor up vector. That'd be better. Okay. And so taking the up vector, I'm going to multiply it by a float. And I'm going to put in, let's say 400. And then I'm going to add that to my actor's location. Let's split our transform and put that into the transform there. So hopefully now the dice should spawn just above him. But let's make it a bit closer. Also, I don't know how big the dice are. I might have to make them smaller. Yeah, we'll make them smaller. It's a bit too big. So because the dice here is that big, I can either change the current mesh, modify it in modeling tools, or when I'm spawning it in, I can change the spawn transform down. We'll do 0.3, 0.3, and try that out. See if that's any better. Oh, got to take out that one. A bit better. But because it is smaller, it will naturally be lighter. So you probably need less torque on it. So let's go to our start roll. And we're going to get the strength. Actually, I'm going to change the strength on it. Let's actually make the strength here. I'm going to make the strength here variable. And I'm going to make that editable and expose on spawn. So back on my player controller, when I spawn this dice in, I can refresh this and I can set the strength here. So I'm going to set it to 300. I'm just doing the one right now because I want to make sure it works for one before I add in a second. Okay, not too bad. I think what we need to do is now constrain it into an area because we don't want it bouncing all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a dice rolling draw around the camera. So when it spawns the dice in, it's going to bounce off some invisible walls we're going to spawn in. So let's add some invisible walls for our dice here. I'm putting a dice folder, makes more sense. Add a blueprint class, do actor, and we'll call it the dice rolling cage. Essentially, that's what it is. And we'll do a blocking volume. So we'll do a box collision. And we're going to put up the walls of this sort of box that we're doing here. So I'm going to change the extents here slightly. We'll do that to like 10. And then change the sides here to be 1000 by 1000. Like that. And then location wise, I want to make them go across from each other. So we'll do one there. We'll do another one. Actually, first of all, before we make another duplicate, let me change the collision settings first. So I'm going to go down to the collision settings. And I just want it to be custom. Because I want it to pretty much ignore everything except for physics bodies. I want it to block physics. Okay. That's what our dice is. So, and we will change collision enabled here to collision enabled for both from query and physics. Okay, so we can duplicate that now and create the other walls of our box. So negative 1000. Duplicate that one. This one would be 0 and 1000 in the Y. Just going to rotate it 90 degrees. Like that. And then we're going to duplicate this one. And that'd be negative 1000. Okay, so I want to spawn this into, well, let's see if that sizing is okay first. Yeah, that's not too bad. So if I just push play, we can kind of see how that's going to fit. It might actually need to be a bit smaller. Yeah, we'll make it smaller. So I've gone ahead and made it smaller. I'll just change it down to 500. And let's see how that looks now. That's looking a bit more like it. And we should see the dice hit the wall and bounce off it like that. Okay. Cool. Okay. So we're going to spawn this thing dynamically in the level because we could be anywhere in the level. We want to make sure it spawns in where we're throwing the dice. So let's go back to our player controller. And I'm just going to clean this up a little bit by putting this pawn reference in again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse this to a function. And we'll call it roll dice. And on roll dice, it's going to do two things. First thing it's going to do in a sequence here is we're going to spawn in the dice cage. So then 0, spawn actor from class. Choose the dice rolling cage. And the spawn transform is going to be the same location as our player pawn. So we're going to take our player pawn, split that. And this one wants to always spawn ignore collisions. We always want to have it. Then, on then 1, it's going to spawn in our dice. Now, you could want maybe to have the option to make it roll multiple dice. If you want that to be the case, you do for loop. And the last index here will be the number of dice minus 1. So, on roll die, we're going to have an input on here for a number of die. And that'll be an integer. And we're going to use that and take away 1 from it. And the reason you're taking 1 away from it is because the for loop 0 counts as an index. So it'd be 0 and then 1. So when we put in 2 die, we want it to be 1. So subtract 1 from that. And there you go. And that will spawn multiple dice if we set it up to multiple dice. I'm going to set a default value, though, to just 1. Like that. There you go. So we can decide how many dice we want to roll. So let's test it out with 1 die. And we should see the cage. Well, we should see the dice reacting to the cage that spawns in. There you go. Hit the cage on the side there, and it's landed. Okay. And if I change that to 2 die, we should see 2 die drop in. Yeah. Okay. Next up is the dice. If you want them not to be replicated, so you can see them on other players' dice rolls. If that is the case and you do want that to be happening, you just need to make sure your BP dice is set to replicate. So go to class default, set to replicate, like so. And the player controller, when it is spawning in the die here, event player start turn, that comes from the server. Okay, so that's fine. That's going to work for us because the server should spawn it in for both then. The thing you may see is a bit funky and a bit weird is that when these spawn in, their physics might not line up exactly right. Okay, so here you can see they've gone off. The reason why it's gone off is because the cage wasn't set to replicate. Hang on, let's do that again. Go to the cage and set that to replicate. There we go. Right. So as I was saying, you might see the physics look a bit off and not be exactly correct. You can see it's a little bit different. And you can see the numbers come out a bit differently too. So because they're physics-based die, I would recommend you don't replicate them. If you wanted to have a replicated solution to the die, you may want to consider doing something that isn't physics-based. Just because physics are expensive to replicate, just because of the way they work. So bear that in mind if that is the case. So now we've got our die rolling into the game. I'm going to make it not replicate so other players can't see it, and it saves me the hassle of making physics replicate. And then what we're going to do next time is make it so the number counted from the die is actually used and told to move the pawn. You can watch the next episode right now over on patreon.com/Ryan Laley, where you can find all our content early before everyone else. And a massive thank you to all our patrons over there for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.